Hello and welcome to the Brian Arnold Show. I got someone here today that is a great guest, and we're going to have some fun with this. Her name is Alysha. Alysha, welcome to the show. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much. It's an honor being here.
Thank you.
And it's actually very Myronic of me being here in the first place, and I'm going to explain what that actually means.
Please.
So I am actually the creator of a concept called Myrony, where it's my plus irony, but you take out the I because it's not about I, it's about we and something so much greater.
Wow.
So Myrony are the crazy coincidences that happen in life that you can't explain.
Okay.
But I also like to say it's another word for synchronicity. However, I say it's synchronicity in motion. Synchronicity is a sign, Myrony is the action that leads to serendipity. And that is how I'm here today. Now, what makes this really fun is my last name is literally pronounced Myronuk, just spelled differently.
Okay.
So I have a podcast called That's Myrony, and my goal is to have on for social media a whole new form of content where people can share their Myronies in addition to their selfies on social media.
Wow, that's quite a different twist.
Well,
That's
you know,
great.
I feel I'm a messenger of God in that, you know, from the original pronunciation, it's Ukrainian Czechoslovakian, so it has a different pronunciation, but it was always pronounced Myronic.
Right.
So who better to bring this concept of Myrony to the world than someone in that way? But in my logo, there's a little wink, and that's, I call him Winky, and that's how I represent God as love with an awesome sense of humor.
Awesome. That's very, very interesting. So when did you get this concept or idea?
Well, I actually tell my story on That's Myrony podcast as episode 1, which I say discover Myrony and your inner superpower, because everybody has it. It's just who is paying attention to it.
Right.
Because again, you get a sign, you get an intuitive pull. What are people doing about it?
Yes.
And in most cases, it's just to have a conversation like we are today.
Yes.
So it actually, it's a very long story. It all started, it's connected to my father who was terminally ill. I was actually born, engaged, and married in the same hospital. Yes, I know.
Really?
That's Myrony, right?
Wow. Right.
So there's a lot to explain, unpack. So that's why any listeners or viewers, would, that it's, go check it out because there's a lot to how it came about. But when I discovered the word of Myrony, I was actually selling Jaguars and Land Rovers in California, and people would say, how do you say your last name? And I'd say, it's like ironic, but with an M. And then I added, there's a lot of Myrony in my life, and get a little chuckle. Right. And then one day it hit me, I said, oh my goodness, this is a universal word for everyone.
Right.
And then the Myronies show up. So I like to say it's following the spiritual breadcrumbs. Right. You know, some people like to say connect the dots. I say follow spiritual breadcrumbs, because sometimes you get like something that's the equivalent of a loaf of bread.
Right.
That's smacking you across the face almost because it's so big.
Right.
But what about the little crumbs? And it's the little crumbs that has actually led me here today.
Yes.
And it's paying attention to how we are unbelievably divinely guided.
Absolutely. I always say that intuition is such a big deal that when we pray, we talk to God. When we sense intuition, is God talking to us?
Yes, absolutely.
So, we pray, we talk to God, but intuition is God talking to us. And you're picking it up. Are you tuned in and listening to the within? And this is a whole subject that I absolutely love to get into and talk about and teach. I actually do a full course on that called Wholeness.
Oh, wonderful.
And wholeness, spirit, soul, and body. And then I break that all down. What is your spirit? What is you? Because you are a spirit being. You are a creative spirit being. You don't have a spirit. You are a spirit. You have a soul. What's your soul? That's your mind, emotions, and will. And you live in a physical earth suit body, which has 5 senses: sight, touch, smell, taste, and hear. And so the wholeness course that I do is spirit, soul, and body, and then I break that down into 5 different categories: physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and financial. Because if you're not whole if you're missing any one of those, and we're struggling, you know, like you could have a poverty mindset and be lack, limitation, scarcity all the time, that poverty mindset. Well, we can break that mindset and have abundance. But that takes a transition of inner workings of understanding, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. So it's a big deal, and it's a big course, and I love it. And so that strikes that strikes a string for me when you bring this up. You know.
Well, yeah, it's. I mean, people can say spiritual irony, whatever they want to say. It's just recognizing something greater than ourselves. Absolutely. I like to say it's a divine design that interweaves us together.
Yes.
And what if people? So the idea is to actually get it out to the world where people don't have to have a picture of themselves. We could take a picture of this room and be having a conversation, and we connect a Myrony between us.
Right.
Which we have a Myrony. It's how you...
Hey, it's Brian here again. Listen, I put this little wall hanging together, and it's a saying to help you to have the freedom to choose a better life. We all want a better life, and you can't solve a problem with the same mindset that's creating it. And so I have a lot of people who get this, and it's kind of a blueprint, if you will, and a formula for being able to choose a better life. And it's all about mindset. So if you would like a free copy of this, all you got to do is go to my website and click on right here where you see the little click right there, and you can subscribe, and I will give you this for free. Not the hanging itself, but the statement behind it. Okay, very, very powerful. It's all about mindset, and it's also about wholeness, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and financially. So I do a whole overview on this. So I'd like to give you this as a gift. Thank you.